be talking about Thomas Nelson Community College. And my guest is the president, Charles Taylor. Charles, welcome.
Thank you. Thomas Nelson, we're physically located on the peninsula. We cover the areas of Hampton, Newport News, York County, Poquoson, James City County, and Williamsburg. It's a large area.
Large area. Now the campus itself is located, the main campus is located
in Hampton.
In Hampton. So if you're driving down 64, east or west,
you can see the campus right from the expressway.
Right. Charles, tell us a little bit now, you cover a large area. So what is your enrollment at Thomas Nelson?
I've been at Thomas Nelson since 2004. And when I started there, we had about 11,300 students. Last year, at the end of the 07 year, we had over 14,000 students. So we're the largest institution, higher education institution on the peninsula. We're larger than Christopher Newport, larger than Hampton University, even larger than College of William and Mary. And so we're very large and continuing to grow.
Now, Charles, let me ask you something. What do you think causes this rise in enrollment?
Well, it's a number of things. We not only have the campus at the Hampton, but we also have a campus in Williamsburg, Upper James City County, and a number of things contribute to the growth. We took an approach to try to put community back in the community college. And using that approach, we decided to work more with the high schools. We expanded our dual enrollment program and making certain that high school students have the opportunity to get college credit. And so when I first came, we had approximately 300 to 400 students in high school taking dual enrollment. This last year, we were over 1,600. So that was one of the big explosions. The other thing, in working with business and industry, we took the stance to try to improve the quality of the employees and at the same time provide skill sets so that our employers can have a trained, skilled workforce. So all those combination of things. We also developed a new program, which was our community outreach program, but at the same time, we developed a new department, an outreach and recruitment department, and we have career coaches, we now have full-time recruiters, and all of those things combined. But the other thing that I really wanted to emphasize is that our faculty really took the time to look at what curriculums we're offering, what programs we're offering, and we increased our distance learning. As you know, distance education is a key component nationally. We had one of the lowest programs in the state 3 years ago. We've increased by 350% in terms of distance education.
Well, let me go back, because I want to go back and take these things one at a time, because I find it fascinating. For those people at home, explain to them how this dual enrollment actually works.
Very, very simple. Dual enrollment really means that a student is enrolled in a high school, whether it's in their junior year or senior year primarily, and at the same time, the faculty in that classroom, they meet the standards for the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, our accrediting body. Our faculty look at the curriculum, look at the programs, and make certain that the courses in the high school are college-level courses with college-level prepared instructors. And what happens is that the student, while they're taking that college level class, they're getting credit at the same time getting the credit at the high school. So when they come out, a student could come out with 12 hours. They can come out with 20 hours of college credit. And more importantly, those credits can transfer to a four-year institution, four-year university or college. So we took the stance, why not give our students in the peninsula an opportunity, an upper hand, so that when they come out, and it's a cost savings to them and their parents. Imagine coming out with 20, 30 hours, not having to pay a university rate, the thousands of dollars that you can save. So that's the program in a nutshell.
Charles, let me ask you though, as a professor, just out of curiosity, are they using the college textbooks, or how does that work?
The main thing is using the college level textbooks because the key component is individuals, they are actually in college level classes and that's real critical. So we make certain, we work with the school districts to make certain that the textbooks are comparable, in many cases exactly the same textbooks. Many high schools, they actually pay for the textbooks for those students because those are college level textbooks.
Right, and then they pay, of course, in order for the students to participate, they have to pay the tuition Thomas
correct.
Nelson, they get themselves a transcript or whatever it may be.
But more importantly, we took the stance to reduce the tuition for the students because we really wanted to get the students prepared to get into college level work. A high school degree is good, but getting an associate's degree, it also increased their salary in the future as well.
Okay, I'm also fascinated by this other thing you mentioned, and I really didn't know that much about it. This outreach that you have, because you know I'm big on outreach. So tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, when I came there in 04, we didn't have an actual outreach program. We didn't have a large marketing program. And so we had to beef up the marketing and get the name out to the community. People know or hear about Thomas Nelson, but not really knowing exactly what we do. I mean, when I tell individuals that we have over 14,000 students, they sit back and say, really? When we talk about our new programs that we have with Nassau and with Langley, people are not aware of that. They're not aware of our modeling and simulation program in terms of welding. So we decided to step back and say, how can we have an outreach to the community? So we did a new branding campaign. We changed the brand and the look of Thomas Nelson, and we wanted to also get into the high schools and also to the chambers. And so we basically emphasize all the great things we're doing. I'm sure you're aware of the workforce training program that we have. It's nationally known. We received national and state awards. So we took all that together, took that picture and said, let us now share with the community and outreach to the community through workforce training programs, through having more students come on campus. We now have an orientation program for students before they even start, so they can have an understanding of Thomas Nelson and all the benefits.
You know, I'm a big proponent of access.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I know that's the outreach, but tell me what's Thomas Nelson doing in terms of access to the campus?
In terms of access to the campus, because we decided to put community back into the community college, we decided to provide opportunities for students in terms of taking education to their sites. And I'll give you one example that we're very proud of. We decided to move into the southeast side of Newport News, and we opened up a Southeast Higher Education Center. And listening to some of the parents and some of the students who are there, where you had a mother who said, I would not have gone back to college if you didn't have the higher education center in my neighborhood. And also sharing the same time saying having their daughter go with them. And so access is critical not only into the high school, but one of the things that we changed, we opened up a welcome center to give students the opportunity to come in, keeping our enrollment low. That's one of the emphasis of the chancellor, to make certain that community college tuition is low and to make certain that it is leaving access to individuals. The other thing that's critical, financial aid is a major component. So we revitalized our entire financial aid department. We put in new seating areas to make certain that there was confidentiality. We moved a lot of our admissions things to technology. We actually put in new kiosks so a student can come in and find all their material. They can fill in applications online. They can actually pay online. So if you're sitting at home at 2 in the morning and you see the tape of Thomas Nelson, you go online, you can do everything online right then and there. So that's opening up access.
I'm really pleased to hear about the Southeast Higher Education Center. I think it's great. And you know, we've been running the Educational Opportunity Center for many years out there on the peninsula and all over the Hampton Roads area, reaching out to individuals. We work a lot with social services. We refer a lot of people from social services to Thomas Nelson to help them. And you know, it's amazing to me, Charles, after all these years, you know, we're out there trying to tell people about higher education, how many people still need it? I mean, the number doesn't go down.
It doesn't. There was just a recent report just in Newport News alone, students, individuals, I think they had about 20,000 individuals who were without any high school education, without even having a GED. That's a large market in terms of providing not only higher K-12, but also higher education. And it's amazing that we only have 14,000 students. That can easily jump an additional 6,000 to 7,000 students if individuals take the time to get back into education.
One of the things that it amazes me is that where do people think they're going to go without a high school education?
Right.
And that dropout rate, and we've talked about that among our, among the other presidents, is that the dropout rate from secondary institutions and nationwide, right, and even in the Hampton Roads area is staggering.
It is.
And so I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I think you ought to be congratulated there to do that. Now another interest I have is that financial aid.
Absolutely, that's why I brought that up.
Yeah, I know it's so confusing for people. Mm-hmm. Now it's one thing if you're in high school and you have a counselor and they help you out, but Absolutely. What happens if you're an adult? Mm-hmm. And where do you go? And you look at that. The VASFA form, and you say, God, you need a doctorate degree to fill this thing out. Yeah. So what do you do? How do you help them?
Matter of fact, getting back to access again, we decided to, again, take it on the road. We actually now have opportunities to present financial aid seminars, financial aid workshops. We've actually talked to some of the churches when they have their higher education fairs to really take the time to provide financial aid counseling, financial aid training. It is a complicated process, but we also are working with the social services agencies as well. And we're also working with some of the other community agencies to provide them with financial aid. So if there's any agency that would like a workshop or a session, we're willing to provide.
Let me just say how unusual that is, because most institutions, the only time the financial aid office is going to deal with you is if you're an enrolled student, and it's not because they don't. It's not that they don't want to, but they have so much of their own students to take care of. That's why through the Education Opportunity Center, we're out there, and you're out there trying to address these students and give them access. So
well, we take almost a model from the Education Opportunity Center. We realize that it's good to have an institution sitting in Hampton, Southeast, Newport News, Williamsburg, but if a student is not financially able to attend, that's a drawback. And also those individuals who are deciding to go back to college for the first time, or they've been a single mother or a single dad and decided, I need to get more education. They look at the finances and say, what should I do? We feel that that is an access issue. So that's why we're not just sitting back waiting for them to come. We're reaching out to say, let us show you how to do it.
Many years ago, Charles, we helped a young lady who lived on the peninsula, and she was actually living in a shelter, and we got her interested in going to school. Very, very intelligent young lady. She went to Thomas Nelson Community College. From there, she went to the College of William and Mary, and eventually she went on and they got a master's degree. Now she's teaching at a community college, I think in New Jersey or something. But that's the pathway, and I think why the community college is such an essential element to help individuals get into the pipeline, and then to nurture them. Now, just let me ask you another question. What kind of services do you have? I'm a student. I come there and I enroll. Now what? I go to class. I need some help. How do you help me out?
Well, see, you started in an area. We start even before. We don't want you to get into class. We want you to first learn the system, learn all the services. We provide math tutoring. We provide reading, writing assistance, counseling, academic advising. We want to find out first and foremost, not just getting college education, but we want to find out where would you like to go? What would you like to do with this? If you want to transfer, we actually have a transfer center to help you to say, if you want to be a photographer, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a lab technician, these are the classes and the courses that you can take. But it also gives you to look at all the possibilities. Students are not aware of all the different job opportunities that are available. Some people say, well, I want to be a psychiatrist, or I want to be an engineer. Well, what type of engineer? You have medical engineering, all the different types. And so we want to take the stance of saying, what are your career goals? If you want to transfer, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, pre-med, if you want to be a medical laboratory technician. So we give you an orientation. We tell you all the different services, but we also want to let you know that if you have any type of needs, whether it's academic or professional or personal, we can do referrals. I think the other thing that we do, before you even get into the classroom, we test you to find out where your skill level. So we want to not only get you in, we enjoy our enrollment, but our retention rate has increased and our graduation rates have increased.
Do you study skill classes to help the student?
We also have study skill classes as well. Absolutely.
Now let's talk, we kind of glossed over this, but the workforce development. That's a huge thing for the community college.
It is.
And for all the community colleges. Talk about a little bit what it means to Thomas Nelson.
Well, what it means to Thomas Nelson is that we have one of the best in the state.
Wait, I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah, you can quote me on it. Well, I think I'm taking the quote from the governor and from the previous governor and from other state legislators, so I'm just taking that quote and just repeating it to you. But I'll just give you an example on that. We also provide one-stop services in terms of the one-stop area, and they have service indicators and things that are measured. And Thomas Nelson, they have 17 measures, and every year all the one-stops throughout the entire state are measured. We're the only college that met and exceeded, in many cases exceeded, all 17. No other agency in the state in terms of our workforce development area. So with that, we served, in addition to the 14,000 students that are taking credit, we served over 26,000 individuals as well. And all of those individuals are looking for work. They're also either in the job training area, and we develop their skills, give them the opportunity to see what they're lacking. We work with a number of employers to find out what are your skill sets that you need for employees. Instead of interviewing 300 individuals, they know that the individuals coming from Thomas Nelson will meet their skill sets, what they need, what the individual is interested in, and move that. That saves the companies thousands of dollars.
You know, I'm on the workforce development board, and the thing that disturbs me sometimes is that we have to go out of state or out of the country to find workers, when we have a workforce here that we just need them to give them the right skills.
Absolutely, and my emphasis is that we need to basically continue to grow our own, train our own, because we have large numbers of individuals within the United States and also in Virginia that are wanting to work, they're willing to work, and we would need to make certain that we give them the right skill sets to make sure that they are successful individuals.
Well, you know, you and I are on the same page in that, and that's, you know, and I strongly believe in that. Now, you can go to a community college and you get a certificate program, associate degree, or you can transfer. And a lot of people probably don't know that, but transfer students, about how many and what percentage do you have that transfer?
Approximately 45% of our students transfer, and it fluctuates each year. It could be 50% in a particular year, but I would say approximately half of our students actually transfer. And one of the things that we're most proud of at Thomas Nelson is that we actually have programs where students are dual enrolled. We saw it concurrently enrolled, so they don't confuse it with the dual enrollment program. But like at Old Dominion University and their teaching program at College of William & Mary, students are taking classes at William & Mary and Thomas Nelson and paying Thomas Nelson's rate, but they're also William & Mary students, Old Dominion University students. But our students, in many cases, do as well, and in some cases better, than a student who came in straight as a freshman to that university.
Yeah, you know, there's the maturity aspect of it. And of course, you know, we have that cross-registration program. Which you guys
I knew you was going to mention that.
And we have students go back and forth among the institutions, and I think it's great. Now, another area, and this is related to workforce development in one sense, is nursing. Big shortage of nursing, and you know, and as we're getting older, I don't mean you, Charles, but some of us are getting older.
Yeah, I think I'm as old as you.
So you look at that curve and you say, gosh, I want people to be able to help us if we can. But there's going to be a big time shortage in Virginia. And how is Thomas Nelson meeting that requirement?
Well, we've been working with the Williamsburg Health Foundation, and they've been helpful in providing us the necessary funds to expand our program in the Williamsburg, James City County area as we're building our new historic Triangle campus. As a matter of fact, we just started it less than a year and a half ago, and we were able to graduate 8 new students and from the nursing program just this last year. But we are looking at expanding our entire nursing program as we build the new historic Triangle campus, and we're building our first 120,000 square foot building for our new campus in the Williamsburg area. And we believe when we open up the doors, we'll have nearly 2,500 students.
Where is that exactly?
That is on Centerville Road. It's in the James City County area, right off of 99 and 64. If you go up 64, get off 199 and hit 60 and 199, and in probably another short period of time, you actually see the building going up. We're planning on opening by the end of spring of 2009.
Now, Charles, getting back to the nursing, and we've dealt that problem with the consortium. It's not so much that you don't have the room for the students, it's having the faculty. Is that your problem too?
Well, it's a problem nationally and also here in the state, and I really appreciate the consortium, because one of the things that you did is to bring all the colleges and universities together to have that discussion so individuals were not robbing from one another. And I commend you for that and thank you for doing that. But trying to get master's degree nurses and doctorate degree nurses, it is a problem, and it will continue to be a problem, but the universities around here are tackling that. They're trying to graduate more nursing students in their graduate programs. But we compete just like everyone for those individuals. And they're getting older and they're retiring, and we need to fill that gap.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, those who come out nurses and they get a master's degree and then they think about teaching, and then all of a sudden the hospitals come and offer them these bonuses, you know, and they're gone. You know, we don't have them anymore. And I wish we had some money, you know, like from the Johnson Foundation or somebody to enhance some of these salaries and to attract people. But it is a serious problem for us.
And the state took, I commend the governor and the state, they took a major stance this last year and increased the state salaries for our nurses by I think 10%. But again, when you have a hospital say, okay, they increased it by 10%, we're going to give you a 20% bonus. You know? So it is difficult.
Well, you know, you're dealing with a big business here. And let's just change a little bit. Let's talk about the faculty, because you know, you can't have an institution without the faculty. How many do you have, and what do they like? What kind of education do they have?
We have an excellent faculty. I'm very proud to say that we have a quality faculty, dedicated faculty. We have about 110 full-time faculty and about another 340, depending on the semester, part-time faculty. One of the questions that someone would ask is that, how do you compare your faculty to the four-year universities? And so I answer it this way, is that it depends on the type of university. If you're talking about comparing us to a research university, obviously, we don't handle research, but if you compare us to a liberal arts college or a teaching college, then I would put our faculty up against those individuals. And we are all accredited by the Southern Association. So all of our faculty meet the qualifications that the other four-year colleges and universities would meet as well.
Now let me add a little bit to you, because you know I'm a faculty person, and we run we have a summer institute in college teaching, and a number of your faculty have participated.
Absolutely.
We have the certificate program, and some of your faculty participated in that. I find when I get faculty members together, pretty much faculty members are faculty members. It doesn't matter if they're a four-year school, a medical school, law school, community college, they're all the same. The emphasis, I think, it should be on teaching and learning.
Teaching and learning, absolutely.
You know, I think research is important. You know, I could have arguments with somebody about that, and research is important. But the bottom line is we need to have faculty members who can perform in the classroom and enhance teaching and learning.
Absolutely.
And that's always been the community college philosophy.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the differences between the community colleges and the four-year colleges, where the four-year colleges, they have basically the cream of the crop coming in. They have the criteria where you have to meet a certain criteria, 10,000 students apply, you have 5,000 slots. The community college is open enrollment, open access to all those students who can benefit. And so you can have a faculty member in front of a classroom, and they may have a student that's a 4.0, graduated top of the class, and at the same time have another student sitting in the class who basically was a C average student. And so our faculty, I commend them to have the time, the patience, and the dedication to not only keep the student that has a 4.0 average intrigued, excited about learning, but also having the patience and also that personal touch to have that student who may be struggling, who come back for the first time, to take them aside and say, let me help you grow along the way. So I'm very pleased with our faculty, and I will put our faculty up against any other faculty.
Well, you know, I think what we call the term is value added.
Value added,
so
absolutely.
You're adding value to the students you have, and I think it's great. You know, and when we're in our workshops that we do, the consortium does for the colleges, and, you know, we talk about that. We talk about, you know, students' learning styles and helping students that may be a little bit different or who don't quite have the experience, and for college faculty, it's a big challenge.
It is.
And I again, you know, and some of the best people I've dealt with across the board have been community college faculty as well from our other institutions. But that's great. So, you know, I'm glad you put so much emphasis on it. And let me also add, I know you run a lot of programs for your own faculty, little workshops and things like that.
Absolutely.
So,
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that we did, as I mentioned, the reason that our distance education grew so fast is that our faculty said, this is the wave of the future, let us learn. And we took the time to not only put together programs, but we provided them training, we provided them the necessary skills, we provided them the technology. So we didn't want to say, just go in there and do it. We want to make certain if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right and provide you the training and also the development skills you need to have a quality distance education program.
Well, you know, one of the things that sometimes people don't realize is distance education is a very challenging thing.
It is.
You know, it's the problem of retention. It's the problem of, you know, the student has to be pretty much an independent learner in a lot of ways. So to do online classes, you know, it takes a certain skill, and you have to be trained. And I think almost all our colleges now are moving to some form of online education. But I was looking at your numbers; they're pretty good.
Our numbers are very good, and again, the only way we're able to do it is that we have a good technology staff, but we have a good faculty, and that's real critical to really to bring the students in and to take the time. I mean, it takes a lot, as you say, to really do distance education because you're doing a lot. Students text messages now, they email, they do a lot of things that they didn't do even
Sometimes
just 10 years ago.
I think it might be more work, but anyway. But before we go, and we only have a minute left here.
Okay.
What is your vision now down the road for, what do you think that Thomas Nelson, where do you want to head?
Well, basically, my emphasis is being a servant leader. And we, again, putting community back in the community college. We want to continue to grow our campus at the historic Triangle campus up in James City County and Williamsburg area. We want to grow our program in the southeast area because that's an area that really needs it. But our emphasis at Thomas Nelson, my emphasis as president, is that we want to improve the quality of life for all the citizens on the peninsula. And that's why we're emphasizing putting community back in the community college and making education, higher education open to all of the citizens there.
Charles, thank you very much. It was very fascinating. We'll have to have more conversation about Thomas Nelson. I want to thank you at home for watching Inside Higher Education. And if you get the chance, enroll at Thomas Nelson Community College. Thank you.